Hi everyone, good evening. Guys, please let me know if I'm audible to everyone.
Yeah, you are audible. Hi, good evening, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so guys, welcome to the demo session for the MECM, right? Or earlier it was called as SCCM, Software Center Configuration Manager. Sarfaraz, do you have any query? Please mute yourself. And if you have any query, then only you can just unmute and you can ask, right? Okay. So from today, not today, today is just the demo session. From tomorrow, maybe, or from the coming Monday, we are going to start our full-fledged classes. Okay, but this is just going to be the demo class under which we are going to discuss about the topics and what SCCM or what MECM is and what and all operations we can perform under SCCM. Okay, and why it is needed and how to configure it. See, because see, if you are going to work on MECM in any of the organization, in that case you have to work on the existing environment, you have to work on the pre-configured environment. You will not be able to configure it from very scratch, right? But in our demo, in our classes, we are going to build a SCCM configuration. We are going to build the infrastructure from very scratch, right? From very zero. We will start our labs, right? And we will going to see that what and all things and what and all operations we are going to perform under the SCCM infrastructure. Okay, so earlier it was called as MECM, but now it is named as earlier it was called as SCCM, Software Center Configuration Manager, but now it is called as Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager. So this is the new name, right? Now, so there will be around 14 to 15 module of this whole module of this whole SCCM. There will be 15 modules, right? And we are going to cover that modules one by one. Okay, so first of all, we have to understand that why SCCM is needed in the in the environment, in the company, why it is needed. See, 90%, I can assure 90% of organization are using SCCM in their environment. Sorry. Okay. So as I told you, 90% of companies are using SCCM in their environment so that they will be able to manage their infrastructure. Right? If let's suppose, let me draw a diagram. Okay, let me create a new diagram. Right? Let's suppose this is my whole organization. Right? And under this organization, I have around 50,000 of computers or laptops. So how you will be able to manage these 50,000 laptops? If let's suppose you want to do some installation for some, if let's suppose you want to install Office 365, right? Or if let's suppose you want to install the patches, the latest updates of Microsoft onto these laptops, so how you will be able to? Or you want to manage this whole infrastructure, mean to say, let's suppose onto this system there is some issue, and you want to take this system on remote, right? So how we can do that? So we can do that from a central server that is going to be our MECM server. So from this server itself, we will be able to deploy the patches. We will be able to deploy the application. Let's suppose there is a requirement. There is a requirement of this laptop that this user wants Adobe suite on its laptop. What I can do, I can just create a policy onto my SCCM server, and I can I can deploy that particular software for this laptop only, for this device only. Likewise, if there are some systems that need some license software, I need no to log in onto the system. I need no to take systems on remote. Directly I can deploy the softwares from the SCCM console itself, and I will be able to get the report as well. If let's suppose there is some issue in the installation, I will be able to get the report in the server itself that yes, there is some issue with the laptop, there is some network issue, and then I can reinstall, I can redeploy the software again. And once I will be able to get the report that yes, 100% installation is done, and then I can close my ticket. As well as you know, Microsoft used to release their patches on every second Tuesday of the month. So for this 50,000 devices, do I need to log in one by one onto the system and I have to install the patches on each and every system? Because see, patches is anyhow it is needed to make our infrastructure secure. We have to install the patches. We have to keep our devices up to date. Maybe you have heard about there is a ransomware called WannaCry. Right, companies earlier they don't used to think much about the patching, but once the attacks start happening onto the infrastructure, they decided to build a separate team for the patching itself, so that they are just going to deploy the patches for whole infrastructure. So this patching thing, I can manage it from the server, and I can deploy it onto 50,000 of devices. As well as, let's suppose there is one software installed. Let me see. Okay, let's suppose this software is installed onto this system, and let's suppose it is AutoCAD, right? Let's suppose it is AutoCAD. Now, if I want to see that on this system for how long user has accessed this software, I will be able to get the report onto my SCCM console. Let's suppose there is a requirement from my manager that he want to check that for how long users are using the AutoCAD or any other application also. So that is only possible through the SCCM. I can do it through the SCCM, and I can get the report of this particular software that yes, for how long user has used this tool. It is actually called the software metering. As well as, if let's suppose I want to get the information of the hardware, that what and all hardware is connected with this device. Let's suppose one of the user has connected some external monitor with this device. Let's suppose user is using this extended monitor, right? I want to get the information that what an all external devices, or let's suppose user is using any pen drive also, any external hard disk also, or any of the external device. It can be Bluetooth, it can be Wi-Fi, right? It can be printer. I want to get the information. So that is also, I can get it from the SCCM console. So that is actually called the option of hardware inventory. Along with hardware inventory, that what and all RAM is installed onto the system, what is the processor, right? What is the operating system, what is the disk size, and multiple things we will be able to get it with the help of hardware inventory. Right. So these are basically day-to-day day routine task of the SCCM administrator to manage all these things, or to manage or to keep your infrastructure up to date. Right. Let's suppose you have installed the PDF viewer in all of the systems, right? And you want to get the report that what and all systems are installed with PDF viewer. Then in that case, you will be able to get the information. Okay. Now, let's go back to the PPT. So first of all, there are one more thing I need to explain, that see, every 4th month, Microsoft used to release its updated version of SCCM every 4th month. Okay, earlier it was 2211, but now on the month, in the month of March, they have introduced 2303. Right? So 22 is basically the year and 11 is the month, right? So it was introduced in the 11th November 2022. But now the latest version is 2303, that is March 23. And again, on to next 4 month, again Microsoft will release its latest version of MECM. Right? So we are going to work on 2211, or if the latest is there, we are going to work on latest as well. Because see, we have a module under which I will help you out that how to upgrade your version, how to upgrade your existing version of MECM. Let's suppose we have installed 2211, right? And we want to install the 2303, the latest version. Right? So we will try to install 2211 in our infra, and then I will show you that how to upgrade to its latest version without any downtime. Okay. So in order to configure the SCCM, we need to understand about the sites. We have to configure some sites. So see, these are the modules we will talk it about later on. First of all, I'll show you the prerequisites. Okay. We will talk about these modules later on. Okay. So if I'm talking about why you should learn MECM, right? Why you should learn SCCM. So SCCM is the industry platform for managing devices in an enterprise environment. So if you are a big organization, right? If you have around 50,000 devices, 1 lakh devices in your organization, so in that case, you will be needing some enterprise solution so that you will be able to manage your infrastructure. Okay, so this is the good option that can be implemented. Right? It is mature tool and is in the market from last 25 years. So it is in the market from last 25 years and still it goes on, and still companies are looking for the SCCM administrator. Yesterday itself, I see on the Naukri portal, there were around 35,000 active jobs for SCCM administrator only. And the big organizations are TCS, Accenture, Deloitte, and they are looking for the SCCM admin. Okay, so need not to worry about it. Companies are actively looking for the candidates who have a good knowledge of SCCM, right? Then MECM holds around 43% of market share, and almost big size and medium size companies has implemented MECM in their environment, right? A good vacancies are there. As I told you, there are around 35,000 active jobs related to SCCM. Okay, good vacancies are there, as well as salary is also good. If you are SCCM administrator, if you have a experience of around 3 to 5 years, in that case you can get around 10 to 15 lakhs of package in India, right? So let me show you on the Naukri portal itself so that you will be able to understand. Let me go to Naukri. Okay, and let's search for the SCCM administrator only. Let's suppose, okay, I'm searching for SCCM itself. The keyword should be SCCM only, right? Let's search and see around 35,000 active jobs are there for the SCCM administrator only. Companies are looking for the dedicated role of SCCM, right? And to learn this, what are the prerequisites? If you are a system admin, if you are working as a system admin right now in any of the organization, or if you are working as a desktop support in any of the organization, so this is the good path, right? It is a good chance for you to learn SCCM and to grow your career. Okay, and let me show you, there are multiple organizations which are looking for, see, it is 16 days ago, 30 days, and we can refine. See, Capgemini is also looking for the SCCM professional, right? And the average salary, you can see, it should be around, it is around for 6,800 jobs, the average salary is 15 to 25 lakhs. Okay, so there are multiple companies who are actually looking for the SCCM administrator. They are looking for the right candidate who's actually having a good knowledge on SCCM. Right now, see, this organization is also looking for SCCM system administrator. So what are the prerequisite? Right, so as I told you, if you are already working as a system admin, then obviously you should be aware of Active Directory. You should be aware of Windows OS deployment. You should be aware of Azure AD. Okay, but for the SCCM itself, what and all experience is needed, what and all things they are going to ask, that I will let you know during our lectures. Okay, so you can see here Intunes as well. So guys, Intunes is also a updated version. Intunes is basically meant for to manage your devices, to manage your mobile devices, Android, iOS devices. Right, for that, Intunes, you can integrate you can integrate Intunes with your existing SCCM environment, and you will be able to manage the devices. If let's suppose onto the mobile also you want to install some application, Let's suppose it is a user's mobile, right? And you want to deploy some application, your company's application you want to deploy. So that I can manage from the console itself. I can select the device, right? And I can deploy that particular application onto mobile also. And don't worry, I am going to teach you Intune as well. I will let you know how to access Intune, how to create the profiles onto Intunes, and how to deploy the applications to your Android or to your Apple iOS devices. Basically, it is a separate module. Intune is a separate module, but within this SCCM, I am gonna teach you Intunes as well. Okay, for Intunes also, there are multiple organizations who are looking for Intunes administrator. Let me show you. See, for Intune engineer, SCCM specialist Intunes. So this SCCM and Intunes both are the same thing, right? But Intunes now comes up with some additional features, right? And that additional features I will let you know during our lectures. Okay. So the thing is, we should be aware of these two modules in order to get a good job or in order to grow our career. So any query for now? Any query you want to ask? Any confusion till now? So guys, see, my sessions is going to be interactive, right? I want you to involve, right? I want you to respond so that I will be able to understand that yes, what and all I am trying to deliver, you are able to get it. So please be interactive, and during classes also, please be interactive. Okay, so I have received some of the replies that no queries for now. That is great. Now let's go back to PPT again. So for this, it is easy to learn. It is nothing. It is just a console that we have to learn, like cloud, like Azure, or maybe AWS. So these are what? These are console only. You have to just learn how to run these console, how to manage these consoles. Likewise, MECM is also a console. It is a basically I have not configured yet because I have deleted all the I have deleted my previous infra. Maybe if I could not have deleted, I will be able to show today itself. But we can ignore, right? I will show you in our next lab how to configure it, and maybe I'll try to configure it from my own, and then I will show you first. And the second thing, I am gonna help you out that how to configure these servers, how to configure SCCM console in your labs also. Sarfaraz, I believe you should have knowledge of system admin. You should have knowledge of Active Directory. See, because this SCCM is also from where it is getting the data, from where it is getting the data of computers and users. Obviously from Active Directory only, from AD only. So I would recommend you to go for MECM, for MCSA and MECM both. You can take the combo. Okay. In the MCSA, you will be able to get the knowledge on how to work on servers, right? And then second, in MECM, you will be able to understand that how in background services are running. Because see, for MECM, the backbone is Active Directory only. From AD only, we will be able to get the information of all our devices and the users. So for that, you should be aware of Active Directory. You should be aware of group policies, right? So I would recommend you to go with the combo batch. Okay. Okay. So the next is no coding or program language needed to learn MECM. You can learn it because, as I told you, it is just a console. You have to just learn it, how to run the console, right? But yes, sometimes we can manage this console with PowerShell also, Windows PowerShell. Okay, that I will let you know that what and all commands can be used to manage your infrastructure. I will let you know during the lectures. Okay, I have prepared some PDFs, so that PDFs I'm going to share with you all. Okay, and when the scripting is needed, we are going to take the reference from the PDFs. Sarfaraz, it will take around 1 month for MCSA for servers. Okay, or maybe you can query with the networkings also. So there is a ongoing batch which is going to start from tomorrow. It is a weekend batch. You can enroll onto weekend batch also. Okay, then okay, so this is the thing first of all. And now to configure the infra to make the MECM console, we will be needing first of all 3 servers. We have to set up 3 servers. We have to set up 3 servers. Server 1, 2, and 3. And later on we will be needing one more as well. I will let you know the why it is needed. Okay, so first of all, 3 servers will be the prerequisites. Okay, one will be your domain controller. If you are already working in the organization, right, you will be able to get that what is domain controller, right, and how to configure it. But if you are not aware of, need not to worry, I am gonna help you out with the how to configure the domain controller from very scratch. Okay, one is going to be the domain controller. Second is going to be the database server. Database server, where we are going to create our database of the MECM, right? And the third one onto which we are going to install our primary site, or you can say it as it is going to be our MECM server, and it will going to be primary site. Now what primary site is, why we need to create a primary site? Let's understand. So just a second. Introduction. So I have the PPT for all the topics, need not to worry about, right? I'm gonna share you once we will start our classes. I will share you the PPTs one by one. Okay. So in order to configure the SCCM, we have to work on the sites. We have to configure sites. We have to make a topology, right? Let's suppose I have an office in India. I have an office in India. Let me see if we can get it. Okay. Okay. Let's suppose I have an office in India. Right. And in India also, I have some branch offices. I have some branch offices. Let's suppose this corporate office is available in, it is actually in Delhi. Right. And then under Delhi, there are multiple branch offices also. Let's suppose this is in Mumbai. Sorry. This is in Noida. This is in Chandigarh. and this is in Pune, and this is in Bangalore. Right? So this is my corporate office. And this under corporate office, I have multiple branch offices which are geographically available onto multiple locations. Right? Now, how I will be able to manage the devices? It may possible that there are 5,000 of employees. Obviously, I have to assign 5,000 laptops also to them. Same, let's suppose there are 10,000 devices. Let's suppose there are 2,000, 5,000, and so on. Then how I will be able to manage it? So what I need to configure, I need to make one primary site. Primary site. So there are basically three sites. That is, first of all, central administration site, CAS, then primary site, and the third one is secondary site. Right? Central administration site is not needed. It is just optional. Okay, but we will be needing primary site. We have to configure primary site. Right? So from the primary site itself, I will be able to manage these offices. I will be able to manage the devices which are actually available in these offices. And there is a limit with the primary site. If I'm going to configure a primary site, in that case, I will be able to manage 1,50,000 devices. I will be able to manage 1,50,000 devices. Now, I just need to create the policy onto my primary site only. I will create a policy for primary site, right? And then the policy will be deployed for the other branch offices also. No need to log in individually onto the system. From the site itself, from the primary site itself, I will be able to manage my branch offices. Let's suppose I want to see the user's activity onto the, let's suppose in Mumbai location, I want to see the user's activity, that what actually they are doing onto their system. I want to get the inventory of the hardware. I want to get the software metering. I want to deploy the patches. I want to deploy the operating system. I want to upgrade the operating system. Everything I will be able to do it from the primary site. Let's suppose there are some devices onto my Mumbai location which are installed with Windows 10. Let's suppose these are the laptops. Sorry. These are the laptops that is available in Mumbai location, right? I want to upgrade their operating system. For now, they are running with the Windows 10. I want to upgrade it. So do I need to log in here, or do I need to ask any IT administrator to manage or to upgrade it physically? Not at all. I can deploy the upgrade from my primary site itself. And guys, one more thing. It is not mandatory that these devices should be in your office network. If they are onto internet also, I just have to make sure this device should be connected to any of the network. Either it should be your office network or it should be outside your office. I will be able to deploy the update. I will be able to manage it. I will be able to upgrade this operating system. Within network though also I can manage. But if it is outside my network, then also I can manage these devices. Okay. So this is the beauty of this product actually, by which you will be able to manage your infrastructure, either it is in your network or it is your outside network. Okay, let me ask you one thing. If you guys are working in any organization, just do let me know in the chat. Have you ever seen software center on your laptop? Any one of you, can you please confirm?
Yes. Yes.
Then you are using
Yes, sir.
SCCM in your organization. Have you ever downloaded company portal application on your Android phones or iOS phones?
Yes. Intune.
Then you are using Intune in your organization.
But sir, it's available on Play Store, na?
The company portal is available in Play Store. You have to download it, but after downloading it, you will be able to manage.
Yes.
You can deploy your application. Let's suppose I want that your system should be installed, your mobile should be installed with the Outlook. Your mobile should be installed with the Office application, some of the Office application. I can manage it. I can directly deploy it. You have to just go to your company portal application. You will be able to see that what and all software has been deployed from the central server, and you will be able to install it.
Okay.
And guys, trust me, I can manage your mobile device also. If I want to restrict you from using the camera, if I want to restrict you from using the Wi-Fi, I can manage.
Okay. Good one.
Right? So
Right.
this is the thing that I can perform through the Intunes, and I'll show you the examples also. Okay, during the lab I will show you how to do it. Okay.
No.
So we were talking about primary site, right? So under primary site I will be able to manage 1,50,000 devices. Now let's suppose this is my India location, right? And outside India also there are some branches, and I want to manage that branches as well. Let's suppose I have an office in America, US. I have office in Australia. Let me create one building also. Okay. Let's suppose I have some overseas offices also. Now there are also the devices. There are also users are using the devices. How I can manage them? So for these offices, let's suppose this is in US. Okay, let me go below. This is fine. Let's suppose these are the overseas offices. Okay. This one is in US. And this one is in Australia. So think logically, Australia. So think logically, for these offices, what should I do? Shall I configure the primary site for these offices also?
We can do two things. We can configure a
Yes,
secondary site, or like we can configure a one more primary site. But if we will configure more than one primary site, in that case, we need CS site.
exactly. Right. So what we can do, we can create a secondary site for this one. Okay, just do let me know within the secondary site, how many devices I will be able to manage. if I'm creating any secondary site, right? So in that case, how many devices I can manage? Any idea?
Near about 75,000.
No, dear, it's around 15,000. Okay, I will be able to manage 15,000 devices, right? And now from where they are going to take the policy, do I need to set up one more database server? Because see, initially I told you for the primary site, I need words, domain controller, database, MECM, right? So for these offices, do I need to create separate database? No,
Yes.
obviously, no. What we can do, we can deploy the policy from our primary site itself. From we can deploy the policy from our primary site to our overseas offices. So that is called secondary site. So what and all policy I will create, that policy can be deployed to the US office also, but again, I have to make sure there should be a network connectivity. Then only I will be able to push um, the policies to my secondary site. For secondary site, yes, I need to configure one more server. I will create one more server for secondary site. Right now, what will it will gonna do? It will going to push the policies to your secondary site server, right? And after that, secondary side will gonna manage the devices which are available in your US offices. It can be 15,000. Likewise, for Australia also, we can create one more secondary site. We have to configure one more server here, right? And then from the primary site itself, I will be able to deploy the policies, and what and all systems will be there onto my secondary site. They will gonna take the policy from my secondary site server. Okay, so in our labs, I'm going to configure primary and secondary site both, right? And we are going to point our devices to the secondary site also, so that we will be able to see that what and all policy, if I'm going to deploy from my primary site, so whether my devices are picking up that policies or not. Okay, so this is the thing, the primary site and the secondary site. Now, how you guys will be able to configure it? Okay, do let me know all. Do you have 16 GB RAM or 32 GB RAM in your laptops?
No, sir.
No. Yeah, ideally it should not be, right?
Yes, sir.
So what we can do? Okay, Vastav, it is great. If you have 16 GB, you can configure it in your own laptop. Or the second option, we have, first of all, the networking labs. Once you will going to enroll onto this course, you will be able to access the networking labs. Okay, let me show you how it looks like. Mhm. Even I have not accessed the labs from very long. Have to see. Mm, okay, so we got logged in, right? So you can see these 4 servers are already configured here. So, but this is not meant for the SCCM. I have configured a separate lab for the SCCM, right? Or maybe we can just take the example from here itself. So these servers are already, operating systems are already installed onto it. You have to just turn these systems on, right? You have to take console of this server now. And now you will be able to install the roles and features onto this server. First, either you can, first option is you can configure it in your own laptop if you have around 16 GB or 32 GB of RAM, because we will be needing around 5 to 6 virtual machines at a time, right? So even I don't think 16 GB is going to work. So I would recommend you to use either networking labs, or the second option will be Azure account. You have to create one Azure account. Okay. So to log in onto these servers, go to on-screen keyboard, Control Alt Delete, again Control Alt Shift and select none, and you can log in. Uh, what was the password? Hemant, do you have password of these servers? Can you please send me into the personal chat? I forgot. Uh, okay, okay, it worked. It should allow now. Okay, so first of all, this is the option that you can use to configure your labs. Or the second option will be, you have to configure one Azure account. You have to create one Azure account, and for that you will be needing one credit card, right? So that you will be able to get the free credit of around $200, right? And I believe within the month, it is the $200 are only applicable for 1 month, right? So I believe we will be able to complete this module within 1 month only, so no need to extend it. But if it is needed, I will let you know how to extend your subscription. You need not to pay anything to Azure. I will help you out how to extend it for another 1 month. Okay. So I will gonna teach you on both the, I will let you know the configuration on networking labs also, right? And then I will let you know the configuration on Azure also. The process will be same, right? The servers will be same, just the console will be different. In this case, I am configuring it on Azure, or in the networking labs, obviously I'll be doing it onto the NK labs. So choice is yours, how you want to configure. I would recommend to use Azure, right? Because if we are going to build the servers onto Azure, you will be able to get an idea that how to work on Azure. As well as if you want to learn the Azure, so we have separate batch for Azure as well. So if you want to learn, you can ask to the networking team. They will let you know with the ongoing batches of Azure also. But whatever labs we are going to configure here, I will let you know the configurations of VM onto Azure, how to make the Azure account, free Azure account, right? And how to extend it for another 1 month. Because by default, it is just meant for the 1 month only. So to extend the subscription in free, no need to pay anything to the Azure, right? I will let you know how we can extend our subscription. So choice is yours. Whatever platform you want to choose, you can work on. Either if you want to choose AWS also, you can configure your labs on AWS as well. If you have the knowledge of AWS, you can use it. Okay, but as I already have the pay as you go account on Azure, I am going to teach you on Azure, right? As well as if you guys want to work on networking labs, so I will let you know the configuration over there as well, and you can choose your platform depending upon your requirement. Till now, any clarification, any query? All clear? Thumbs up. Okay. So now I'll let you know that what and all module we are going to cover, what and all topics we are going to cover in our MECM. Okay. Let's go back to the. Okay. So first of all, for all of the topics, I am going to provide you the PPT. I'm going to provide you the introduction, that why it is needed, how to configure it as well. Okay. Let's suppose if I'm going to hierarchy, see, in this case, there should be the configuration of primary site. See, this is central administration site, CAS, right? And then primary site, determine when to use a primary site, and then when to use the secondary site, determine when to use a secondary site, right? So these PPT itself will teach you that why it is needed. If you are going through with these PPTs, you will be able to understand the concept. And guys, to be very honest, concept is more needed, right? If you are able to understand the concept, configuration will not take much time. I can share the configuration steps also. I can share the configuration steps with the screenshots also, with the process. But they will only gonna help you if you have a good understanding of the concept. Vastav, it totally depends on our requirement. We can create as many as you want. Okay. Now, the modules. Okay. So we have around 15 modules, right? Let's go one by one. I will not be able to explain you one by one, but I will just let you know what and all we are going to cover. But once we'll start the classes, I will explain each and every module. Okay. So first of all, module 1, overview of system center 2211 configuration manager, right? What is site, what is central, what is primary, what is secondary? So we have already talked about it, but again, once we'll start our classes over there also, we will be covering this topic. Okay. How data flows and replicates in an hierarchy, means if let's suppose I have configured one primary site, so in that case, how the policies are getting deployed to the secondary site server. Okay. Then how to plan that either we want to create, see, primary site to mandatory, we have to configure the primary. Secondary site is optional, CAS is optional, but primary is mandatory. Okay. Then we will plan according to the device how we want to configure the primary site, where we want to configure it, right? Then the deployment. Once we decided that yes, onto this location I'm going to configure my primary site, then we are going to cover our deployment. So in order to configure the deployment, in order to configure the whole primary site, we will be needing 3 servers: domain controller, database, and then MECM server. Okay, these are the prerequisite, guys. This is needed. Okay. Then we'll install our MECM console onto the server. Okay. And the third one is discovering and organizing resources. Once we have configured our primary site, how we will be able to get the devices information onto our MECM console. Guys, please don't get confused in MECM or SCCM, right? So this is one and same thing, right? So discovering and organizing, how we will be able to discover the devices, that what and all devices are available in our infrastructure. Yes, AD is the part, as I told you, AD is the backbone. Apart from AD also, it may possible that some of the devices are running on any different series of network. How we will be able to get it? So in that case, we have to configure the boundaries based on IP configuration. So what and all device, let's suppose I have configured a boundary between 192.168.1.100 to 1.200. So whatever the devices lies between these IP, I will be able to discover them and I will be able to add them into my SCCM console. Okay. And then users also, we will be able to create the users and device collections. So these all information we will be able to get from the Active Directory, our domain controller, right? Then managing the configuration manager client. So obviously, in order to deploy the application, in order to deploy the operating system, we have to install the agent also onto client machine, right? So agent should be installed onto client machine. And we will make sure once the system is going to join our domain, automatically the client will be pushed, the agent will be pushed into that laptop. So that also we are going to see in this module. Okay. And then this is what I was talking about, managing inventory and software metering. If I want to manage the inventory, if let's suppose user want to, if let's suppose my manager wants that how many devices are available in Delhi location, I can get it with the inventory part. If let's suppose I want to get that for how long user is using AutoCAD or any other application, I can configure software metering and I can get the information, right? Then querying and reporting data. So obviously, as I told you, we are going to configure one database server also. Onto that, I need to configure SQL server, right? So with the help of queries, we are going to write some SQL queries. And by writing the queries, we will be able to extract the desired information. Right? How to the reports also. Let's suppose I want a weekly report of my laptops, of my devices. I can create the schedule and I can get the report. Okay. Then the seventh is managing software deployments by using application and package model. The deployments of softwares now. Let's suppose I want to deploy Office 365 onto 50,000 devices. I can manage it. So there are two models. First is application model and the second one is application package model. If let's suppose I want to deploy any MSI application, let's suppose I have a MSI application that I can deploy directly with the application method. But if let's suppose I have some .exe applications, for that I have to create the package model. Okay, so even in the organization also there is a separate requirement for the person who actually have the knowledge on packaging model, software packaging model. Okay. Then deploying and managing software updates. Software update, let's suppose I have installed any software right? And then tomorrow I got a latest version of it. Let's suppose I'm using Google Chrome, and Google Chrome version 68 is installed into my laptop, but tomorrow I got it as a 70. So how to upgrade the existing software? Okay. Then managing operating system deployment, OSD. So in the organization, no need to install operating system with the help of pen drives or DVDs. Either we can do it through the WDS, Windows Deployment Services, but this option is the old one, right? And now we can manage the operating system deployment from OSD model, operating system deployment model. Okay, how to install a fresh operating system, or how to upgrade a existing operating system. Okay, so both we are going to discuss here. Then implementing endpoint protection and using system center 2211 configuration, right? So there is an endpoint configuration. If you want to manage it, if you want to manage the configuration, endpoint configuration of your laptops from the central or from a primary site, right? We can manage it. We can create the policies. Managing compliance settings and profiles. What and all systems are compliant with our policies? Let's suppose I have created a policy that users will not be able to use USB on their laptop. But now I need to check that whether what and all systems are compliant with this policy. So I can create a compliance settings and I create a policy for that, and I will be able to get the information. Okay. Then mobile device management using system center 2211 configuration manager. So this is basically Intune. Okay, I will let you know the configuration of Intunes also. Then configuring power management and remote control. I want to configure the power management for all of the systems. I can do it from the console. Now we have the option of remote control as well. If let's suppose I want to take a system on remote, so that is also possible with the console. Okay. And then configuration of site maintenance. This is what I was talking about. Let's suppose if you want to upgrade to its latest version, then also we are going to talk it about. Then let's suppose we are going to configure disaster recovery also, DR also. Let's suppose if, our server is not available, or maybe some disaster is there. So how to rebuild the server again using the backup and restore method. Okay, and we will be able to get each and all information of our existing server onto the new server that we are going to configure by using backup and restore method. Okay, and the last one will be secondary site. How to configure the secondary site, how to assign the devices to the secondary site, and how the data is getting deployed, how the policies are getting deployed from our primary site to secondary site. So in this module, we are going to discuss about. So in this whole thing, we are going to discuss around 15 modules. And after this, I will ensure you will be able to work onto the and onto any existing environment, and you will be able to understand the concept also. If you'll get any interview call, definitely you will be able to crack it. And even I'm going to help you out with the interview questions also, that what and all interview questions can be asked. So I will share the interview questions as well. See. So what and all topics I have covered in the module, all the topics are there in this interview questions. Okay, so this also I will going to share with you all. So now guys, we are open for the queries again. I am done from my side for today, but if you have any queries, you can ask regarding topics, regarding module, regarding configuration, regarding whatever your queries are, you can ask.
Sir, Mac iOS can be managed through SCCM,
Yes, yes,
and the patching also can be done of the
yes.
third-party softwares.
Third-party software, it is not possible. For third party, we have to get any tool like Automox, okay, or you have to maybe get Ivanti for the patching, right? Through this console, we will not be able to manage the third-party tools, third-party updates. Upgrade we can manage. Existing installation upgrades we can manage.
Okay. Any licenses are required to deploy SCCM?
Yes, for primary site, we have to procure the license for the production environment. But as we are going to work on the lab environment, we will be able to work on the evaluation version. So for us, no license is needed.
So licenses are depends on the client machine or the servers?
Yes. If let's suppose you want to configure the primary site, you have to get the license for primary site only. And it is going to cost around $1,000.
And what about the network devices like routers, switches, controllers?
That should that is the needed in the existing environment in your data center. It is the needed, no? I am talking about the configuration part. I am talking about the deployment part. The network part should be there. Then only I will be able to deploy the updates, right?
Right.
So we are not going to touch any network part. We are not going to configure routers and switches.
But if you configure primary site and the secondary site,
Hmm.
then the IP part will cover, no?
IP, obviously, that will be covered, right? We are going to configure in Azure. I will let you know how to make the communication. If it is on different series, how to make the configuration, how to make the communication. I will let you know, don't worry.
And for that, I think the ports should also be open for the particular services.
Yes, through firewall, through group policies, we are going to open the ports. Okay, through group policy,
Yeah.
we are going to open the ports for our firewalls and for the different dedicated services. Like let's suppose you want to take any RDP session, right? So in that case, we have to enable 3389.
Right.
Okay, so yes, we will cover, but it is already mentioned in the modules. We are going to cover it. And it is needed, obviously. It is a prerequisite. Even guys, just let me clear you one thing. It is going to take around 4 to 5 hours or even 2 to 3 classes to configure our primary site. Okay, it is a big task to configure the primary site from very scratch. Okay, we have to go step by step. We have to work on the different multiple deployments. Okay, so it will going to take around 3 to 4 classes for the installation only. Okay, and I would recommend you guys to just do the configuration along with me, so that If you are facing any kind of issues during the installation, at that time only we will be able to discuss it. Okay, or we can do one more thing. If let's suppose we are let's suppose we did the configuration today, and then tomorrow I will take your queries first of all, and then I'm going to start my class. Okay.
Sir, one more question,
Haan
just
ji.
to clarify.
Please.
Like we have 15 server and 5 servers are running on the cloud and 10 servers are running on the on premises. So in that scenario, is it also possible to control through SCCM?
Servers you want to control?
Yes.
Yes, it is also possible. Servers will also act as a client then. If you want to manage your servers also, then also you can manage it from the SCCM console.
Okay. Yeah, got
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Yep. Anything else, guys, you want to discuss? You want to ask?
No, sir.
Okay, great. So maybe from Monday 10 p.m. onwards, we are going to start our classes, right? And I'm going to create your classrooms, Google Classrooms. Over there, you will be able to get the study materials, interview questions, and the assignments. Okay, so from Monday, we are going to have our full-fledged classes, and we'll see you on Monday now. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye bye, everyone. Good night. Take care. See you on Monday. Bye bye.
Good night, sir.